Top 10 fascinating locations around the world. Earth is extra than only a fuzzy blue and green ball floating in space. Our planet houses extra than 75 billion human beings, spinning absolutely everyone through 4 seasons every year at the same time, as presenting us with magical perspectives of oceans, mountains, valleys and extra. There are a number of mysterious places around the sector, a few extensively explored and defined by professionals, others holding on to their mysteries. On this listing are just some of the lesser talked approximately locations on Earth, all surrounded via charming tales and theories. 10 of the world's last unexplored places. Number 10. Masuda-no-lwafune, referred to because the birthplace of Japan, Asuka Village, lies inside the hills of the Nara prefecture of Kansai, Japan. The village dates to the tumulus period and is home to numerous Buddhist temples and shrines. The hills surrounding Asuka hold several stone monuments not built within the equal style as the Buddhist sculptures, and their origins stay a mystery. The largest of those has been named Masuda-no-lwafune and is round 15 feet in peak, weighing 800 lots. The stone has 2 square holes carved through it and is similar in construction to Ishi-no-hoden, every other ancient megalith in Japan. While a few consider that Buddhists may additionally have carved the rock, or that it became completed in commemoration of Masuda Lake, the most famous theory surrounding the mysterious rock is that it may have been used as an astronomical statement point. The ridge line across the top of the rock runs parallel to the mountain ridge in the village, and furthermore traces up with the sundown on a particular day of the year, called Spring Doyu Axis. This day traditionally indicated the beginning of the rural season, and changed into its significance in the lunar calendar. Spring Doyu entry also occurs 13 days after the sectional solar term pure brightnesses. However, the majority of experts don't trust that any of this indicated that the rock might have been used for astronomical remark, leaving the rock's motive shrouded in thriller. Number 9. Dubrovnik Islands. The metropolis of Dubrovnik lies on the coast of the Adriatic Sea, and lodging here offers panoramic ocean perspectives which include several islands, the closest of which can be Lokrum and Daxa. Day journeys to Lokrum Island are famous amongst traveler and locals, however no overnight remains are to be had and is discouraged. Daxa has been studiously averted by means of each residents of Dubrovnik, as well as site visitors and travelers. Long status legends have it that a network of Benedictine priests have been chased from Lokrum by Napoleon's forces in 1798, which caused the priests cursing the island before leaving it. They did so via walking the perimeter of the island 3 instances, wearing lighted candles upside down, and leaving a trail of melted wax at the same time, as chanting that folks who desired to claim Lokrum for their very own pleasure would be damned. 50 years later, the younger brother of Emperor Franz Joseph, Habsburg Royal Maximilian, sold Lokrum and set up numerous gardens, including distinct trees and imported birds. His tale became dark, but, after he became done through the Republicans and his spouse slowly lost her thoughts after the loss of life of her cherished husband. Visitors to the island nowadays can still experience the bushes planted through Maximilian and stroll alongside brightly colored flowers at the same time as maintaining an eye fixed out for pleasant peacocks. Daxa was also inhabited by using priests in medieval instances. By 1944, partisans were rounding up fascist sympathizers and took scores of them over to Daxa, in which they were achieved. Those who stayed in the back of in Dubrovnik had been warned not to try to locate their loved ones or what remained of them. This caused numerous rumors of ghosts and hauntings on Daxa. The rumors were similarly fueled with the aid of the invention of 53 bodies at the island in 2009, all of which were reburied in a newly constructed burial plot. Number 8. Papakolea Beach. Hawaii is a dream vacation spot with white sand seashores, crystal clear waters, common rainbows, and inexperienced mountains. On this dazzling island country, you may additionally find red, black, and inexperienced sand seashores. Papakolea Beach on Big Island is one and almost effective 4 green sand beaches within the international. Aptly named Green Sand Beach, the sand shade became created by olivine crystals left in the backup by using lava. The seashore itself is carved from the site of a volcano, Mauna Loa, which additionally occurs to be the arena's biggest volcano. The ocean washes away the lighter sand, leaving at the back of the heavier olivine, making sure the deep green hue. Olivine is likewise called the Hawaiian diamond, and combined with glass and black pyrazine, it makes up the volcanic fabric of Green Sand Beach. To deter traffic from taking a number of the inexperienced sand domestic with them, a mythical curse has been dreamed up, allegedly through park rangers. The legend has it that if anybody takes the sand domestic with them, terrible luck will befall them at once. Their misfortune could include injuries and circle of relatives' tragedies. Only returning the sand to the seaside could prevent the bad success. This legend precipitated many a superstitious vacationer to mail the sand that they had taken again to the National Park Service, out of worry that the curse might get them. Along with inexperienced sand, humans additionally mail or fly lower back lava rocks, in addition to black and red sand. Number 7. Eye of the Sahara. The Eye of the Sahara, higher known as the Richet structure, lies close to Qadain in West important Mauritania. Even though it is a huge geologic formation, it wasn't without a doubt studied until people noticed it from area, even though it changed into first defined between the 30s and 40s. When snapshots taken in the course of the Gemini IV challenge have been published, scientists to begin with thought the ordinary ring shape changed into an impact crater. However, studies didn't display sufficient melted rock for that theory to maintain up. Several other theories followed, including a wacky declared that the eye is evidence that Atlantis existed in Africa. It has been concluded that the eye is a geologic dome and carries rocks which might be at the least 100 million years vintage. Geologists now also accept as true that the eye formed over 100 million years ago, whilst Pangaea was torn apart and the continents of Africa and South America cut up. It is also believed that the eye erupted just after this, growing the look the structure has these days. Number 6. Hermit Island. In Lake Superior you will discover the beautiful Apostle Islands. 22 in total. It is assumed that humans have inhabited the islands as early as 100 BC, with complete time settlers arriving around 950 AD. The call Apostle Islands changed into idea up by way of historian Pierre-François-Xavier de Charlevoix, who named them after the 12 apostles, indicating the largest 12 of the islands. One of the islands, Hermit Island, is known to have been visited by means of Native Americans, and the primary recorded white settler became William Wilson, who lived his life as a hermit there after being expelled from La Pointe inside the 1850s. Wilson and John Bell had a falling out after Wilson threatened to kick Bell's dog. Bell challenged Wilson to a fist combat, the consequence being that the loser must leave Madeline Island, wherein they each lived on the time. As destiny would have it, Wilson misplaced the fight and left for Hermit Island. Wilson made some cash at the island by means of crafting barrels for the fishing industry, but lived his existence by himself. In 1861, a person named Benjamin G. Armstrong, who had previously assisted Wilson in shopping a barrel of whiskey, found out that no smoke had come from Wilson's island domestic in a few days. He allowed the then magistrate, John Bell, realize of the situation, and Bell sent a convoy to investigate. Entering his small home, they discovered Wilson lifeless at the floor, surrounded via evidence pointing to homicide. Naturally, rumors of William Wilson's ghost roaming the island quickly observed. His restless spirit was stated to were the reason that a mansion built on the island in 1895 became by no means inhabited through its owners and reduced to rubble by the 1930s. Number 5. Zone of Silence. Also defined because the Mexican Bermuda Triangle, the zone of silence in the Chihuahuan Desolate Tract in northern Mexico, may most effective measure 50 kilometers throughout. However, it has cemented its place as one of the maximum mysterious locations on Earth. When humans power into the zone, radio alerts stop operating and compasses cross haywire. In 1970, an Athena rocket launched from a U.S. Air Force base in Green River, Utah, became intended to come back down near White Sands in New Mexico. Something went appreciably wrong, and the rocket crashed 400 miles to the south in the zone of silence inside the early hours of the morning. The crash led to the organizing of the Mapimi Biosphere Reserve via the Mexican government some years later. After the restoration operation through America Air Force, paranormal memories approximately the zone started making the rounds, including claims of weird lighting, unexplained beings, fireballs, and UFOs. Some have claimed to have encountered blonde aliens who ask for water in Spanish, after which disappear into thin air. Number 4. Saalfeld Fairy Grottoes. The Saalfeld Fairy Grottoes in Germany had been named the maximum colorful cave grottoes within the world via the Guinness Book of World Records. The caves had been as soon as a mining pit called Jeremiah's Luck, wherein miners mined black alum shale. After the mine became ultimately closed, the last caves were transformed right into a fairy tale world over time, with beautiful shades dotting its formations. The grottoes have been in large part forgotten after the closure of the mine, but have become popular once more after its rediscovery in 1910. In 1913, a third chamber became located, and excursions had been offered to the public in 1914. These excursions have been halted while World War I broke out. In the many years that accompanied, hundreds of thousands of travelers have visited those grottoes. Legend has it that in its mining days, a few miners saw a fairy inside one of the caves. They approached the fairy and he or she disappeared. From this incident, the grottoes are said to have earned their magical call. Number 3. The seven-colored earth of Chamor, Mauritius, is properly visited because of its pristine seashores, exceptional tradition, and great traveler sites. One of the most loved points of interest in this beautiful island is the seven-colored earth of Chamor. This geological curiosity consists of a small, naked panorama that shows sunshades of pink, yellow, red, brown, inexperienced, blue, and violet, and is placed interior a dense woodland. It is known that the bedrock of the panorama became formed after a volcanic eruption, and that the colors are due to the formation of secondary iron oxides and hydroxides inside the weathered basalt. When first watching upon the Chamor attraction, it appears as although there are shadows that create the illusion of several special shades. However, once you go closer to the colored earth, you realize that the colors are real, and that the shadows are the actual phantasm. What's extra, even when you may mix the specific colored sand collectively, it'll all settle lower back into separate layers. Number 2. New York's Eternal Flame. The Eternal Flame in Eternal Flame Falls in Chestnut Ridge Park, New York, isn't always the simplest one in the world, but it is genuinely the maximum particular. Legend has it that a Native American lit the flame loads of years in the past, and that the flame has been burning ever, due to the fact that, technically, the flame has needed to be relit numerous times while it is extinguished by using the waterfall cascading beyond it. Hikers convey lighters with them for this very reason. The flame burns due to a natural fuel leak seeping through the rock of the small grotto it is placed in. The gasoline has a higher attention of ethane and propane than any of the opposite eternal flames around the world. And at the same time, as geologists are nevertheless confused as to how the New York Eternal Flame is constantly defying the laws of nature, seeing as how the rock under the flame is nowhere close to the boiling temperature which is wanted to release the herbal fuel, they have got theorized that the gasoline may be coming from a source 300 feet below the surface. They also accept as true that this manner can be the result of an undiscovered geologic method due to the production of the herbal gas inside shale rock. Number 1. The Chocolate Hills, Philippines. In the Philippines, as many as 1776 hills tackle a golden brown color at some stage in the summer season and had been given the call Chocolate Hills. Often known as the eighth wonder of the world, the Chocolate Hills is certainly one of a type, despite the fact that there are comparable mounds at the island Java in Indonesia as well. The Indonesia mounds have a less uniform appearance compared to the Philippines mounds, but legend has it that a giant cried over love long past wrong, and the hill sprung up, in which his tears fell. Another legend says that two giants engaged in their very own personal battle with one another, and heaved boulders at each other for days unstop. When they in the end buried the hatchet, the boulders remained, turning into the Chocolate Hills we recognize these days. Geologists accept as true the hills were fashioned due to the erosion of limestones that had shifted above sea level and fractured due to tectonic approaches. Some theorized that the hills may additionally were coral reefs that erupted from the water after a geologic shift.